What is up, everyone, and welcome to Now Next Never, our show where we talk about what's happening now, what's happening next, or what may never happen in the world of stocks, investing, NFTs, crypto, and so much more. I'm Nicole Casperson, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts Delano Saparu and Zaid Admani. Guys, it is Friday, TGIF. I'm feeling so hyped for today's show. Zaid, how are you doing? What's on the docket today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, thank God it's Friday. Got a lot going on this weekend. So let's get through this show. We got a lot of great topics. First one being Amazon stock split. This has been a really popular topic. I got a bunch of text messages about this. We're going to be discussing Amazon stock split, what this means, why they're doing it, and why Jeff Bezos not being in charge might have something to do with it. We're also going to be talking about the founder of WallStreetBets making the exact same investments as Nancy Pelosi. Are we sure they're not the same exact person? We're going to dive into that. And then, just like that, Peloton is testing out a new pricing plan. Everyone loves talking about Peloton. So we're going to cover all those things. Delano, you have a Peloton, right?
Zaid, I do have a Peloton. I'm staring right at it. It's daunting to me. I'm going to have to get on it later. But right now, we're focusing on all those great topics you just mentioned. Yes, thank God it is Friday. And thank God you are all joining us from wherever you're watching. But before we unpack all those implications and what it means for you and your money, please do me a quick favor. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you know every time we're going live to give you the real hot takes and cold facts. All right, guys, I'm excited. Let's get into this right now.
Zaid said it, and our first story is Amazon's stock price, which is getting a lot cheaper after the e-commerce giant announced a 24-1 stock split this week. It's the first time they've done this since 1999. This is a story that has many different takeaways, from drama with Jeff Bezos to big tech co's really looking at retail investors to have their voices heard in the future of a company. So I gotta kick it off to Delano first to tell us what the F this means. What the heck is a stock split, and how is this helping retail investors?
All right, y'all, let's do a little bit of a quick roundtable lesson. What does a stock split mean, and how does it affect us retail investors, everyday investors? Are we actually going to own more of Amazon after the split? Quick answer, no, we're not going to. A stock split is exactly how it sounds. A company takes its available shares and splits it into 1, 2, or 3. The number of shares you own increases, but the price decreases, and hence we own the exact same total value of what you owned before, right? So, Zay, that's exactly what's going on here, isn't it?
So it's like a $3,000 piece of pizza chopped up into 20 different slices, so each slice is more affordable. That's kind of what it is, right?
Exactly. And some people have like a unit bias, right? They're like, hey, if something costs less monetarily, or it is less of a dollar value, that must mean it's good, or I can buy it, or I should be able to buy it now. But that's not actually also the implication, always the implication, because we know a lot of places, a lot of brokerage firms, especially like our presenting sponsor, eToro, provide the ability for retail investors to buy fractional shares. The same way you can buy fractional portion of Bitcoin or Ethereum, you can buy fractional stock shares. So it doesn't make that big of a difference to the investor. It definitely doesn't make any economical difference to the investor.
You know what it is, though? Like, I think just our dumb human brains, we just like having a whole versus a fraction of anything. Fractions are just annoying. I mean, so it's way cooler saying that you own 10 Amazon stock than owning half an Amazon stock. So I think that's probably why people get excited whenever they hear about a stock split. So I appreciate you kind of breaking that down for us. I want to talk about a little bit of why this is like an interesting move by Amazon. First of all, Amazon has been like rumored to be doing a stock split for years now, right? I mean, their stock has been climbing. It's trading at above $3,000. But for some reason, they hadn't done a stock split since 1999. It's been a long time. I was 9 years old. A lot of our people watching right now probably weren't even born when the last time Amazon did a stock split. So I think one of the reasons for that was because Jeff Bezos just wasn't down with doing stock splits. I don't know if he just like was, had an ego about
Trying to
like
keep
how
the rich
high.
richer?
Well, no, it just felt like, yeah, he's like, I want my stocks to be higher. My stock price is higher than your stock price. I don't know if it was that. But Jeff Bezos is not in charge anymore. The new guy in charge is Andy Jassy. Jeff Bezos is out partying in the Caribbean with his girlfriend and living it up in his Beverly Hills mansion. Andy Jassy is probably trying to appeal to the retail investors, trying to make the stock, doing the stock splits, their stock is more affordable to normal people. And they're also kind of following a trend of other tech companies, like Tesla did a stock split, Apple did a stock split, most recently Google did a stock split. And I think Andy wanted to come in and kind of be with the crowd. Also, another interesting part of all this is that Amazon's also doing a $10 billion buyback, which is going to help reduce the number of shares that are outstanding, which is also going to prop up their stock price. And I think one of the reasons Andy Jassy is doing this is because when Jeff Bezos was in charge, he really didn't care that much about the stock price. He was the founder of Amazon. He had bigger, grander visions. Since Andy Jassy took over as CEO last July, Amazon stock hasn't been doing so hot compared to its other big tech rivals. So I think maybe Andy was maybe feeling a little bit of pressure there, came in, is doing the stock split, it's going to help increase the price, also doing the stock buyback, $10 billion. And that has helped Amazon stock recently. Their stock was up more than 6% after this announcement was made.
I mean, do you think this new leader is kind of trying to help a little bit also with like the imagery of the brand, make it more like by people for people, I guess?
No.
Given that Amazon and billionaires like Jeff Bezos have gotten a lot of flack over the...
No. Dude,
they don't care about that at all.
I think Andy, to me, Andy just wants the stock price to go higher because ever since he took over, the stock has been kind of struggling compared to like the Googles and Apples of the world. And I think he's like, okay, I gotta do something. Maybe he's feeling the heat a little bit from his board. Does this move? It's gonna help increase the stock price. Already starting to do that. And so that's what I think his main motivations are. But I'm just speculating here.
I got to push back on that. I think it does do something for the smaller retail investor. You mentioned you got a text. I've gotten text. Our network is usually younger people, and they're actually like, "Oh, okay, this is different." Like it just in their mind, it makes it more accessible. It adds more liquidity. If you're dealing with the higher monetary value of a stock, even though like we know that doesn't change anything, it just does intimidate retail investors and small investors in some situations to like not buy a stock, right? And like they feel it. So it does provide liquidity for smaller investors in their mind to actually be involved in the stock, even though we knew that it didn't really change anything as far as the value.
Like, don't get me wrong, I think this is great for retail investors. I'm excited about it, and I think a lot more people are going to buy Amazon stock. But I don't know if that was like the underlying motivations that the executives at Amazon have. But I could be wrong. Maybe Andy Jassy is going to come out tomorrow and be like, yeah, we did it for the retail guys. If he does that, then I'll eat my words.
I mean, at the very least, they're not doing it because they actually care about retail investors. Maybe they're just doing it for like the imagery, like I said, of the brand. But it's hard to say. I could be optimistic that maybe these guys, executives, actually care about retail investors. We don't know. There could be a heart of gold under there that we just don't see, guys. Under all the yachts.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, the tides are changing, and at least the fact that retail investors are even in this conversation is a good thing. So, like, I'll take that W. That's enough Amazon talk. All right, let's talk about a company that's way more interesting than Amazon. A company that me and Delano personally have spent money on, Peloton. I got my Peloton bike last summer. My wife really wanted it for her birthday. I got it, and honestly, it's a pretty cool device. Like, I get it. At $1,500, it was kind of pricey, but she really wanted it. Well, Peloton's kind of been going through a little bit of drama recently. Their stock price is like down 80% from all-time highs. They fired their CEO and founder, and they got a new guy in, Barry McCarthy, the new CEO, and he's ready to shake things up. And this guy's had like a stellar record of like saving other companies. So he's coming in, and he's already ready to make some moves. The first move that he's doing is he might have a new pricing strategy for Peloton. Peloton is going to come in, and instead of charging you $1,500 up front for a new bike and then $40 a month on top of that for their monthly subscription, they might just hit you with one monthly fee, $60 to $100. You get the bike, you get the subscription to ride the bike and join the classes. It's kind of like how cell phones used to do it back in the day when you just would pay a monthly fee to get the phone and the service. So they're thinking about doing that. And I think it makes a lot of sense, right? They got to do something to get the demand back up. There's been stories about how Peloton had a surplus of supplies. I mean, they're coming. It's a long way from having like the shortages that they had back in the peak of the pandemic. So they're kind of trying to reinvent themselves, trying to do something. And I think it's gonna work. What do you guys think? Yeah,
it's so much more than just. They went through kind of their own marketing situation, right? When the Sex and the City reboot all of a sudden made people think that exercise is bad for you, R.I.P. Big. But, outside of fictional characters. I think that it's smart. Peloton's business model at the end of the day isn't that sustainable anymore. With the world opening up again, mask mandates lifting, gyms are open, the economy's open. Peloton thrived in an environment where people were locked in their homes.
Totally.
So now that is not the case anymore, they have to do whatever it takes, right, to bring that price down. At the end of the day, a lot of people's apartments maybe have a Peloton bike that they rent and live in, or I can go to a gym and they have bikes there, or I can take a class. So they have to kind of get into the competition of not only competing against like at-home fitness, but literally like physical gyms, community gyms as well.
No, guys, I do not think this is gonna work. I don't like this strategy. One, hey, I'm biased. I own a Peloton. My girlfriend, we both love the Peloton. But if you're thinking of from the everyday standpoint of people that use it, the demand, as we were mentioning, has kind of already peaked, right? Like the demand has peaked and it's kind of gone away. So the answer now is to push out the time that you pay. They're not even lowering the price. They're just pushing it out to longer. You're going to pay them a monthly subscription for like, 4 or 5 years to pay for the $2,000 bike. I just don't think it's going to work here, right? Like where the demand is weighing. They also had those issues with the Tread Plus, which they did some recalls there. So I don't know. I'm just not, big on this strategy. I like the product, but we saw the price go down because people were paying crazy price to earnings multiple for pretty much a bike with an iPad on it, right? Like, I'm not the greatest inventor, but I think I could have thought that up in my head, like a bike with an iPad on it. I think this is going to work. So I don't know. I just can't go along with this, as I can't go along with it.
I know we laugh. The bike on the bike with the iPad meme is great. I do think that we are disregarding like their aspect of their community. And as someone who makes fun of Peloton as every chance I can get, they do have an extremely low churn rate. Like their current subscription has a very, very low churn rate compared to like industry standards. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but it is very low. So whoever like signs up for a Peloton and has a Peloton typically does not churn, which is like amazing. So I don't know if like dropping the price or introducing this new pricing model will get more customers into their ecosystem, but whichever customers do enter their ecosystem tend to stick around. But my hot take is that like they're just trying to steady the ship a little bit, so where they can have a big acquisition coming, whether that's Amazon, Apple, whoever. They want a big acquisition coming in there, buying the company, so they can kind of like salvage some of this stuff.
Zayd, I like your point about the community. What's driving the community? It's really the Peloton instructors, right? Like everyone has their favorite instructor that they follow. What if we, now next ever, just created a bike with an iPad and we poached Alec Toussaint and we had him riding to our jams, our hip hop 30-minute ride? Then what happens to the community then? I don't know, Nicole. I just think it's really something that we like. I just don't think it's sustainable long term, but it's something that they're dealing with right now.
There's two sides to Peloton. They manufacture these physical items and bikes, right? And then they also are a streaming service for fitness. So does it make sense for, one maybe side of the business to kind of just trickle down and lose steam? Probably, maybe, we'll find out. And, because I agree, right? I don't have a Peloton bike because price. But what I can do is I have the subscription. I literally, I love my power yoga every morning with Peloton. I will give them that. But I can literally just take my phone, put it on a bike, and follow along in that manner. So I think what we're seeing is maybe Peloton evolving, right? Evolving beyond like, all right, maybe we don't want to keep creating these physical things, manufacturing these things, and just be a straight up streaming service for fitness. And in that regard, then it makes sense for, maybe an Amazon, for a Nike. I don't know, like who would buy the streaming service of Peloton? I mean, it's got to be somewhat of a lucrative business, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the ultimate play here, is to save the business and to get a nice exit. They're not going to get the crazy value, the $50+ billion valuation that Peloton was at its peak. But if they can salvage that, maybe get 10+ billion, then I think they'd be happy with that. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, we still have a Peloton. My wife uses it almost every single day. And so if they just want you to get into their ecosystem, once they have you, you're trapped. So I wonder if this new strategy pays off. We'll see. I'm sure we'll get more headlines in the near future.
All right, so that's good. Moving on, the founder of the WallStreetBets Reddit board is pitching a product that lets people invest just like House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her husband Paul. Basically what will happen, this is how it will work. When publicly available data discloses a stock trade made by the couple, the fund will make the same trade giving everyday people opportunity to invest just like Nancy. They're calling it the insider portfolio and a way to share the wealth. Really emphasis on the air quotes there. So guys, is this a big joke? Is this good for investors? I'm a little uncertain here of what to make of this situation. So, Delano, what do you think?
Nicole, Nancy did something great. She took a knee for social justice, and we were right alongside with her. So guess what? I want to follow alongside with her right now. If you're seeing what she did, listen to this, guys, gang. She actually did some amazing call options. Her and her husband had some amazing call options in some big tech plays. I was looking at the report. It was like Google, some tech semiconductor companies, where she made these calls and had incredible unrealized gains from the calls she made. I think I like this from the standpoint of us. One, it's obviously, she's one of the people that's talking about like reining in big tech. Meanwhile, she's potentially profiting on the earnings of these big tech companies that we're supposed to be potentially reining in. So, I mean, a lot of this put your money where your mouth is something that I try to stand by. We all try to stand by. So I like the fact that we can see if people are actually doing it, Zane. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out to the WallStreetBets guy for still like capitalizing on the hype. First of all, I didn't know that like anyone cared about the WallStreetBets guy was actually doing. So shout out to this guy for like he's gonna try to milk this as much as he can. And yeah, the Nancy Pelosi being a good stock picker because she has let's just say she knows stuff that a lot of us don't know, and using that knowledge for her to make some wise bets has paid off for her. So I think the fact that this guy's allowing normal people to do that as well, I think it could work. Nancy Pelosi has basically turned into a meme. WallStreetBets is like the ultimate investing meme, right? So she's just kind of leading into like the meme culture of investing, and Nancy Pelosi is kind of at the lead of that now. So yeah, I think this will be interesting. I personally am interested to know like what stocks Nancy Pelosi is trading. Like I said, because she just seems to have friends in the right places. So yeah, I think this will be interesting. I think it'll be something that I follow, and shout out to the WallStreetBets guy for just keeping it going.
If Nancy was watching this right now, which she could be, would she like this? Like, is this a compliment? Is this a joke? Is this an insult? I don't understand that part. Like, is this, is it good that, because there's these conflicting things.
Exactly. I think, it puts the microscope on, everything. So this is public information. Everything she's trading, it's definitely public, and it's actually interesting. If you guys like all the hedge funds that are being scrutinized, every asset manager that holds over 100 million in assets, they have to publicly disclose what they're holding, what they're trading. So this theme of whether we're scrutinizing or copying or just looking at it is a good thing. I think it should be public. This is what social investing is about. We should allow everyone to see if people's mouth, where their mouth is, as far as, and also where their money is. I think it's a good thing, honestly.
Yeah, I can appreciate the transparency. Zane, what do you think Nancy's thinking?
She's probably figuring out what next investment she's about to make. So I don't know. She's not. Yeah. So she's definitely watching here to figure out what she's gonna buy next. Yeah. I think. I'm sure she's a little flattered, but truthfully though, I don't know if she wants all the attention on her investing. To be honest, so yeah. But it's a meme now. It's a meme. She can't escape it. She's now part of finance internet culture. And she's been on a really, really good run, as Delano highlighted earlier, about buying those call options back in December, and those paying off pretty well. And I think as long as she continues having a really good run, she's going to continue being a meme. She's going to continue getting a lot of attention. And, we're going to follow what she does. Like, people are interested.
Look, turning into a meme in today's culture is just a sign of, it's like a trophy. It's like, you've accomplished something. So we can all only hope to one day become a meme. All right, so that does it for our top stories of the day. We are moving on to Now Next Never, where we talk about other headlines that you should be paying attention to. I have now, so I'm gonna go first. It's Friday. Let's have a little fun, guys. The now is that we are in a new psychedelics era. Instead of being influenced by 60s or 70s artists, it's trending right now as a proper medicine to help treat mental health. And now Wall Street is interested in getting in on it. I find this interesting because psychedelics have become destigmatized, or at least we're trying to get there, and even decriminalized in some regions. So as they kind of begin to enter into mainstream, it's interesting to see the way that this conversation with psychedelics can also be maybe helping mainstream mental health conversations as well, and that is happening right now. So mental health is health, guys. Zaid.
Love it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's very interesting. I got next. Believe it or not, daylight savings is next. It's coming up. It's this weekend, and as with everything, daylight savings already has people have picked sides. People are either so anti-daylight savings or so pro-daylight savings. We're gonna lose an hour of sleep this weekend. That's not good. But we get one more hour of sunlight, right? I mean, we're gonna get, here in Houston, sun's gonna set around 7:30 now. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that because it gives me more time to go to the park or go for a bike ride in the evening. So I'm pro-daylight savings, but there were a lot of people that are so against it. I don't know. What about you guys?
My seasonal depression says pro. I need the sunlight, guys. I thrive in sunlight. I'd rather lose an hour of sleep. What about you, Delano?
I need that extra hour of sleep, man. We're working so hard. I need that extra hour of sleep. I don't care what's going on outside. I want that extra hour of blissful rest.
There we go. Yeah.
Well, speaking of what is never going to happen, apparently for Delano that is also getting more sun as opposed to getting an extra hour's sleep. But what else?
Yes, exactly. So speaking of blissful, Lululemon is actually getting into the footwear game, guys. I think this is interesting. Obviously, we know they're popular for their different footwear, their athleisure brand, their athleisure wear, the yoga pants, different things, right? But now they're saying they've identified a white space in the market when it comes to footwear, and it's part of their 5-year growth plan. Being fair, I actually like the company, the athleisure part of the company. I'm just very, very skeptical about Lululemon getting into the footwear business. Now the name of the brand is gonna be called Blissful. I just can't see it. Are you guys gonna be rocking the Blissful 5s come summertime when we're out at our little kickback at our party? I don't know.
I like the idea, I just don't like the name.
Change in name is
Lululemon
weird.
Lululemon shoes actually sounds pretty dope. I mean, I'd probably want to check it out, but I don't know if I like the name Blissful. They need to rebrand the name.
Yeah, agreed. I think Lululemon maybe should just stick to their leggings. Those rock guys, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, that does it for this episode. It is Friday, so before you go off to your weekend happy hours, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll see you all Monday.
Peace.
Have a great weekend.